Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gonna end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, trend. Yeah, send it to the deck. Yeah, sell it through the spec. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel. We're covering the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and this one is going to be insane, guys, because we're at 109,797. Last night, we hit about 110 popping up. It was looking like a great morning, and then we had the non-farm payroll came in, and Trump's administration does seem to be juicing the numbers a little bit, and I don't know what they're thinking. Powell is not someone that you can do this with, right? He needs his data to be on point. But if yesterday we had negative 37 or 33,000 jobs, it was crazy with the poly market shot. It was insane. It just shot all the way down. It was like almost 50% shot of getting a rate cut. And now with these juice numbers, and the only thing difference about yesterday's number and today's number is government jobs. So the government just added 130,000 jobs, apparently, even more, probably more than that, which seems to be total BS, in my opinion. But something is going on here. There's some type of manipulation that's happening, and it's probably because yesterday the administration was being trashed, right? It was being trashed on a lot of different channels that the president doesn't like, ABC, CNN, and all these other channels basically saying the economy was in a recession. And today we have this number today, and it shoots the other way, or it shoots the complete other way. So now we have poly market saying no rate cut in June, potential no rate cut in July either. I don't even know what to think right now. But Bitcoin did shoot down to 108, but then came roaring back. We're about 109,800 right now. So it does seem like the markets are not really caring at all. It's just kind of like whatever. It doesn't even matter at this point. So which is definitely uplifting for sure. We got a lot of different stuff to talk about today. Ripple, they're planning to be a bank now. We had Circle do it yesterday, Ripple do it today. We're gonna have crypto banks, guys, and they're gonna be everywhere. On top of the banks just buying ETH, another bank today just bought more Ethereum. They're kind of selling Bitcoin, which is dropping the price of Ethereum to buy more Ethereum. It's really nuts. It's actually a really good strategy. What Tom Lee predicts ETH, all these banks are doing it is because they want to secure the chains that their stable coins are going to run on, which is kind of really smart, right? BlackRock Bitcoin ETF is the revenue is absolutely insane. BlackRock is killing it in revenue. We're going to talk about that a little later. But without further ado, let's get the show started. Bring our partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How you feeling today, bro?
I feel okay. I know that the job numbers kind of messed with us a bit. And sentiment a little bit. I feel like it's more about the House bill not kind of going through strong. So today I probably expect a little bit of a pullback. We had a great, morning getting to that 110, 300, 400, but I don't think we hit a new all-time high today unless the House bill gets passed later on today. So they're going through the whole kind of, delaying that, going through the debate right now. We'll see if they can cross the line and get it passed. If it does happen today, I actually expect Bitcoin to rally back and possibly hit that all-time high. But I don't know. We don't know when that's going to happen. They have a deadline of July the 4th, which is tomorrow. So you have to imagine it's going to be later on today. Other than that, I mean, we're still seeing new headlines every single day that are related to mass adoption, right? So I'm excited for the mid and long term, even the short term a little bit, but I'm okay. I'm okay with what's happening right now.
Yeah, 100%. I'm curious your opinion on this. Do you think this job number from today? Let's just kind of dig into that real quick. So, June saw 147K jobs added versus 110K forecast. Unemployment fell to 4.1%, beating the 4.3 estimate. Wages rose modestly. Fed likely to delay cuts. Resilient labor market, right? So, and then yesterday we had U.S. private sector payrolls unexpectedly fell 33,000 jobs. So how does this happen? How do we fall 33,000 jobs in the non-government sector, in the private sector, and then in the public sector or the government sector, we gain 147,000 jobs? Please help me. How does this make sense? And if this is not like heavily manipulated.
So do you want me to put my tinfoil hat on, or do you want me to be like, no, I'm just messing around. But yeah. Look, whenever you do see a negative 33,000 jobs in the private sector, it does show a little bit of possible, worrisome, maybe Russian CEOs or like corporations and stuff, just trying to prepare possibly for the tariffs and all that stuff. Because look, some tariffs have been active, some tariffs have been paused. There's different situations, but whenever you see the 147 jobs, you scratch your head. 147,000 jobs from the public sector, which is the government, you do scratch your head, because what was the whole Doge stuff about? They were talking about they're going to cut jobs this left and right and stuff. You have to imagine there has to be some sort of manipulation happening. But look, that's not anything in our control, right? Yeah. So what we have to focus on is what's going on with Bitcoin, what's happening, how is Bitcoin reacting to these things? Yes, the Fed, can use this as ammunition and say, we actually have more jobs, so we don't need a cut. But you got to remember, though, they still have 4 meetings left and 2 cuts. So if they don't use those 2 cuts, then you got to be, can we take the word of the Fed, as truth? Because they've said that, for the past couple of meetings, we're going to do 2 cuts within the next 4 meetings. So we have to imagine that we're going to get at least 2, right, to finish this year.
Well, they said possible 2 cuts. So it's not like it always says it's depending on the data, right? It's never like we're guaranteed 2 cuts this year. That's just kind of what the market is
assuming,
is baking in, right?
Yeah.
So the market's baked in 2 cuts this year. The Fed Chairman Powell has never said anything about them definitely doing 2 cuts this year, but he said that's definitely possible if the data goes that way. And right now it's not. So
this is one data point. This is one data point. The other data points are telling us that we're in an economic situation to where we could do it. It looks good. This is one data point that came out, right? So we'll see if he uses this as a leverage in terms of his arguments. We know that it seems like he doesn't want to cut, but Bitcoin didn't dump hard off of this, but it also kind of stopped that rally that we saw this morning.
It dumped from 110 all the way down to 108.5
overnight, though. Overnight, overnight, and then it bounced back and hit a higher price point this morning than it did overnight, right? So overnight,
no, I just mean at 8:30 when this number came out, it fell from 110 down to 108.5, and then it came back up, but it just took some time.
Yeah, I'm showing that descent started, unless we're talking about 8:30, like whenever 8:30 Eastern. Yeah, I'm not seeing that here. Oh, right here. Okay, there was a big dump. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it wicked up and then that dump you see. Yeah, that original downtrend actually started overnight though, if you look even higher. But you're right. That definitely news did something, but then it just like rallied right back up aggressively, right?
Yeah.
Even quickly too. So that to me, I feel like there's more weight right now on this House bill, because what this House bill will do is open up, capital, and this is why the current administration wants this House bill to get passed. Even though, like you and I talked about this, we looked at some of the details in there, and it's changed since it got sent to the Senate. It doesn't look great, but what it would do is it would spur the economy, because now corporations are getting tax cuts and stuff like that. So I think Bitcoin will react off of that in the short term, but the midterm will.
I'm not really worried about Bitcoin. I'm worried about the alts, right? Alts aren't going to move. No, the alts aren't going to move until we get quantitative easing, until we get risk on, right? Bitcoin is a different beast now, right? It's a different way of thinking. This is a corporate. It's a corporate moving thing. Retail's not going to come in if Bitcoin hits 130, but the Bitcoin dominance is 85, right? It's not going to happen. We're not going to see big moves, and we need this to drop here. So we're getting this yesterday. I was really excited for it. This morning. This was at 69. So I was like, okay, we got 25 days left. This is moving. We need to get in a rate cut cycle. And the data point for this morning destroyed that. We're back to 94%. This is basically, there's no chance Polymarket loses. That's the problem, right? And then we go to September. Now we're seeing a 50%. 50%. So this number, it's down 8%. This was 65 this morning. So now we're at 50. And then you go to October. October doesn't look good either. It's about 48 to 40% here. So the market right now, we might not get an actual alt season now until potential Q4.
Well, I mean, that's always been in the back of my mind. Like Q4 was pretty much like where alts. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't say guarantee that's what's going to be, but like that was like worst case scenario for me. Was like Q4 alt season, everything kind of blows off. But yeah, I mean, I get it. For me, the current short term worst case scenario is Bitcoin thrust up to 130 and pulls Ethereum to four grand, and other stuff does benefit. At least you get some benefit. You get that tail delayed benefit. It's not the benefit we want. It's not the crazy blow off the top that we're all wanting, but we might just have to be a little bit more patient for that.
Yeah, but the Bitcoin dominance is the problem, right? Like if we do that, Bitcoin dominance goes right now with it. If you take out stable coins, Bitcoin dominance is at 75%, right? Adding stable coins in, it's at 65.2. So
I think that's the number we got to go off of, though, because that's the number they've always gone off of.
Well, if you take stable coins, it's hard though, because eventually stable coins are going to be trillions of dollars, and you're going to want a different data point to kind of go off of.
Maybe down the line, but not this cycle. So we got to go off the basic.
Within the next 12 months, stable coins are going to be over $1 trillion. It's almost guaranteed. I mean, especially after this Genius Act gets pushed in, and all that is money coming online. It's just money coming on chain. Like it's not like.
But I think the accurate number is to do the 66%, right? To comparative to previous cycles, right? Don't you think?
No, well, so for now it's here, but when we add when we add trillions of dollars potentially coming online with stable coins, I don't think we can. I think we have to go to Bitcoin to the chart with Bitcoin. That's the one that Benjamin Cohen really been pushing lately. It's the Bitcoin versus altcoins, excluding stables, right? And that's at 75%. But this is a number that's we got to pay attention to now, because this is a historic number. But I think it's going to get very skewed once we add all these stable coins that are coming online. So, but still, we need this to drop. And this data point this morning is not helping at all. So
yeah. And one thing too, before we move on, because we have been harping on this for a little bit, but I think like by now you would think that we would have this shorter term strategy to where like Bitcoin jumps to 130. You know that these alts will pull up and they kind of could look nice, but it's probably a quick little profit taking moment because until it's risk on, like we haven't learned that yet. Like I'm not saying we're bad for not learning that. It's just this is new. We don't know. Is it all season this time? Is it all season this time? But the people that have been taking profit when Bitcoin jumps up and alts kind of jump up a decent amount, they kind of take profit because they know that it's not risk on yet, and then it goes back. So maybe that might be a strategy this time, but not financial advice.
This thing just pissed me off this morning because of the fact that I don't know if this administration knows what the hell they're doing. Like they just seem like a bunch of idiots at this point. So, but we'll move on here. The U.S. federal housing regulator calls on Congress to investigate Jerome Powell. So, Fannie Mae, all the big housing companies now are they're all going to Congress saying we need to invest. What is this guy's problem? They're saying at this point, and his problem is the data, and it just that's the problem, right? Going with this title as well today, which is buy banks to buy Ethereum. We have Fidelity spot ETF bought 10,730 Ethereum worth 25 million. So but they're selling Bitcoin and buying Ethereum daily right now. And then Tom Lee predicts banks will buy ETH to secure their stable coins, and not just for speculation, but for infrastructure. That was huge by Tom Lee yesterday.
That is huge, because when you're moving the intent now. It's no longer I'm trying to roll the dice here, even though it's a lesser riskier asset within a whole class of risky assets. Now you're saying we need this. Like, this is what we need to protect our house, is what it sounds like. And to me, that's bullish. And you know, we have a lot of Bitcoin ecosystem people that listen to our show, but you got to remember, and I'll say this, you know, till forever, is that where there's an opportunity, you got to look at in our space. This could be a big one, right? And Tom Lee, which is known to really praise Bitcoin his entire career, is starting to praise Ethereum because he sees that opportunity here. Whether that's you know, the infrastructure, or the fact that it's been suppressed for so long, and so there's this pent up demand that probably release like a volcano once it does happen. But I mean, with this, you know, banks looking at it as an infrastructure asset, I mean, that could be a crazy volcano when it erupts.
100%, dude. And the fact that you're getting 6% APY for running you know, Ethereum node, right, and staking your Ethereum in there, that is something that's going to be absolutely huge. But it is nice, though, even with all these data points and stuff like that, it is nice that Ethereum is being sought after right now. What that's going to do, that's going to actually bring, you know, a lot of risk on appetite that comes with that, because, you know, it's once you see Fidelity and BlackRock climbing into Ethereum, they start to think about, okay, what are some other assets that potentially could be a good risk on movement? And that's kind of where we get in. So we need Ethereum to go up here. We need these banks to buy Ethereum for their infrastructure, but at the same time, that's going to pump the entire market, because it's going to set a alarm off saying, oh wow, everyone's looking this way now. It's not just Bitcoin anymore like it's been the last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's move along here. So today, the New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq closed at 1 p.m. Eastern time on the day before Independence Day, the day before Thanksgiving and Christmas. How do you feel about the stock market closing early? Like, what is that? Like, is that really a thing? I look back and I was like, has this always been a thing? And it has. The day before Independence Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas, they just say, oh, we're shutting down early today. I think that's so bullshit. And this is why coming on chain is so necessary, because it's completely taken out the control of these fucking scumbags, right? Just kind of closing the market a day before Independence Day.
Yeah, I mean, for Bitcoin and stuff, the big moves happen at what, 9:30, and I think you said 12. Was it 12 or 11 when they come back?
It's 1 p.m. 1 p.m. is kind of when you know, they all get back to
the last.
They work from 9:30 to 11, and then they take 11 to 1 off, and they come back from 1 to 3.
A little happy hour in between. Hour in between. And then so I think for our markets, they'll pretty much had made their moves or whatever. But the big thing that is for today is like you said, if that House bill gets passed at like 7 p.m. or 10 p.m. tonight, Bitcoin shoots up to like 112, 113, 115. That's where they're going to be FOMOing and probably, you know, be playing a lot in their personal accounts at that point at home. But this is going to be a thing of the past, I think, after about 5-10 years, because things are moving on chain. We're going to see how intertwined TradFi is going to be with Web3, because yes, it was exciting to kind of see, and some people might hate this statement, but it was exciting to see, you know, X stock get added to Solana and Radium. But then you saw some stuff like with OpenAI saying, hey, we don't back this kind of on-chain equity asset. And then Elon had some fun with that post by Sam Altman. It was like, your equity's worthless or something like that in the comment section of OpenAI. So it's like a perfect opportunity to take a shot at him. But I mean, you have to imagine, you know, 5-10 years that like on-chain is going to be heavily used by TradFi. we'll see what this transition looks like.
Yeah, I actually think in like 12 months from today, I think 30% of all the stock trades are going to be on chain, and I say that for a couple different reasons. I mean, the one reason would be BlackRock creating the on chain Texas, New York, the rival that you're trying to build, right? And then on top of that, you have Robinhood, you have X stocks, and all the other ones that are trading right now on Solana and Robinhood. They just tokenized 240 stocks yesterday. You know how much that costs? You know how much that costs them to do?
How much?
It cost them $5.
All of them?
They tokenize. I have it right here. Robinhood pays $5 to transaction fees to deploy 213 tokenized stock contracts on Arbitrum. So $5 total.
Yeah. Well, that's the reason.
So that was big there. So but it's going to be very cheap for tokenized stuff to start happening here. But we're going to move along here. So Colin talks crypto. He had a couple different charts he put out yesterday. So basically, he's calling this one pretty much we've hit. Basically, he's saying this was his target. This line right here, and this line is July. And he's saying that he thinks that we're about to explode here. Exact words were Bitcoin inverse head and shoulders, right shoulder looking ripe, measured target 150. So he's saying this is going to catapult up to 150, and he has that. It's looking like by August. I mean, this isn't November. This isn't January. This is August. Bitcoin sitting at 147. My only hope is it kind of takes alts and stuff with it for sure. And then he had a couple different things as well. He has this one as well. He's saying that we held this as support, this 108 line. So we popped above it, we came below it, came back up, and we hold support. And he said this is another indicator, head and shoulders indicator that says we're going to jump to 150. And then obviously, he has his chart that he's been posting for a while here, and it's updated. So, but it's showing again potentially August, September here, 165, 180.
Ooh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. And as much as I know that you're ready for like alts to start their alt season, that was still
it's not even about alt starting the alt season. It's just like it's just annoying that like
they can manipulate the
manipulating the data
quick.
so quickly in one day, right? So
yeah. So but getting to 150, 165 would definitely pull, in my opinion, Ethereum up to like possibly new all-time highs, right? You're talking about maybe getting to like 5,500, 6,000.
Yeah.
And so I think that would benefit the entire space. Now the problem is this entire time that Bitcoin's kind of done its own thing, when it pulls up, there's this delayed reaction that for some of these blue chips and majors is a good reaction because it pulls up a decent amount, but the pullback is where they get gut punched, right? So like, even though Bitcoin has it has new higher highs and it has higher lows, the other blue chips will have possibly a higher high, maybe, but they won't have a higher low. They'll go back further. And that's the problem that I think a lot of the, people who are waiting for alt season are dealing with, is because a lot of them are being greedy too, using leverage, and they get wrecked on that. Imagine like thinking that you're going to have a higher high because Bitcoin did, and every time you have a lower low, right? Or whatever, not necessarily lower low, but like you're definitely retracing significantly.
Yeah, 100%. But it's not really about like alt season like that. I think we got to get away from that terminology, right? And just for risk on, right? Risk on can mean a lot of different things, but going in today, it's really mixed, right? The amount of risk is really mixed here, and you're seeing a lot of green, a lot of blue. It's is almost feeling like nobody knows what to think right now. Like all the data and all the news is saying higher. And then everything just seems so manipulated right now. It really does. So,
yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that. The only thing that is pretty cool is that Bitcoin is still kind of hanging out at a good price. And I know that like we're still looking at these other tokens here. Let's hope we.
Well, Bitcoin's not a risk-on asset anymore. It feels,
Yeah, but it's still connected.
Off.
It's still connected to them all, right? And so it's the leader. But we'll see.
No, it is 100%. Like Bitcoin needs a rise first, but we definitely need better conditions as well. For sure. But
1,000%.
So this isn't just like Colin isn't the only one that's calling for this, right? Cointelegraph posted this chart today, and it's basically the same thing, right? I don't know the delay of the days. I know Colin uses 84 right now, but this is another one here delayed, and this is actually, you know, this is saying November, potentially 170, and let's go to the 150 number by September. So this is another one that's saying, hey, in the next 60 days, Bitcoin's going to push to 150. So two different places with the same type of data. That's pretty big.
I'm curious of what you think. Do you think we still, you know, kind of what I was initially saying, by mid-July 120 to 130, and then a break between, you know, mid-July, possibly end of July to like mid-August? I do think we're probably due for some sort of break for Bitcoin, but what does that look like, right? I don't know. What's your mindset with that?
Yeah, I think once it starts, it's not going to stop. I think it's just gonna take a while to start. So like I do want to agree with this by August, July, and August, right? But I just know how the crypto summers has been. We've always kind of been like, it's possible this August, and then nothing happens until September. But it always, like, every year I've been in crypto, September has been, you know, crappy, but at the very end of September, it's been bullish. October's been absolutely insane. November's been absolutely awesome. December kind of cools off, and then, you know, well, this year was different because this January was down only because of Trump's tariff situation, right? But that was, again, it seems like that
You
was
had 1 week
down.
You had 1 week of strength in the first week of January, and then after that, it was.
Yeah, it was like right around the 20th, right, when Trump took over. It just seemed everything seemed to be very manipulated down for whatever reason, and now it's kind of, you know, it feels like we've been manipulated now for 6 months, going into July now for whatever reason. But we do know a lot of the big boys now are in Bitcoin, right? They're all in now. Like, so it's kind of like, or I think we're gonna push here. But I just hope Bitcoin takes crypto with it and not just does it alone here. But it is nice to see another chart, another company, Cointelegraph, now kind of up pushing this as well here. Yeah. So I don't know if they just took Colin's data, but I mean, again, the M2 money, and also too, money supply has hit another all-time high. Like, we've never had more money into the system than we have today.
So that, to me, that's really bullish too, because now you push that 10 weeks forward, and you have to imagine, if the M2 supply is going to be correct, then, you know, Bitcoin's going to follow that trajectory, right? So if the M2 global supply continually keeps hitting new all-time highs, that's bullish for, you know, the midterm to, obviously, midterm, I would say, next 6 months or something.
100%. Look back here, November of 2024, right? So we were very, very uncorrelated, right, between Bitcoin's price and the money supply, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of 3 days, it feels like 1 month, right? Definitely less than 1 month, it shot up so quickly to the catch up, and then we were sideways with it, and then it shot up again with the catch up, and then we're sideways with it, and it feels like we're kind of there again. We need to shoot up a little bit, and then potentially sideways up here at 170. Maybe that goes into early next year, but then we have, you know, we have a lot of catching up to do from other coins before the next leg up as well, potentially in January and March. Did you freeze?
No, I'm here.
Oh.
I didn't know if you were asking me a question there.
Yeah,
it sounded like you finished with the statement.
Yeah, probably. All right. Standard Chartered actually saying 135K Q3. So they're kind of in that same boat there. They're going to reach 200K by the end of the year. I mean, again, that's another company basically saying the same thing.
But don't you think we've both thought at least 200 to 250 to finish the year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in the camp of 300 by the end of this year, right? Going into potentially, I'm like 280, 300 going into January.
Yeah, so a lot of these projections, I feel like have been kind of what we've been talking about on the show. Obviously, we didn't just come up with them ourselves. You know, there's been people that have stated these forecasts, whether it was from the conference or the Bitcoin conference or a little bit before. But that has been kind of like the main theme, is 230 to 350, with some outlandish projections at like 500, and then obviously 2026 is a different story. But Bitcoin is kind of going to go where it's going to go, and we all know that for Q4. I think that a lot of people are they're ready for the other parts of the industry.
Yeah, 100%. JPMorgan exploring turning carbon credits into digital
I don't like
tokens.
that.
So, I mean, everything's coming on chain.
Yeah.
Everything, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Carbon credits are just a necessity because carbon credits is something SpaceX buys, right? So it's one of those things where it's like I think you get the carbon credits for doing good things, right? And then you're able to sell
They have
them to
value.
companies
Yeah.
that are not doing good things. I don't really believe in that whole thing. I don't want to even say that out loud, but like that whole global, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Global
yeah.
warming
Don't say
bullshit.
it.
I
Oh, my God.
just don't believe in it. So for me, it's just like another way for them to kind of manipulate everything.
Well,
I don't know. I'm just in this.
I don't like it because I don't like the fact that the original idea I think spurred from the WEF and
Yeah.
have control over society. And we don't have to get deep into this like conspiracy
Yeah.
talk or anything, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't want to be a regular person that's using a gas car and now like because I drove too much that month. I can't use like my debit card or something like that. That's communism, in my opinion, right? Like where you're having control over like each person's act. And so that's why I don't like the word of carbon credits, but I know it's not at that point. So, but regardless, to your point, everything is becoming tokenized. Everything is, becoming on chain. So this is another example of that. I think another industry that's going to be really popular is the loyalty program stuff. Points and stuff, because at the end of the day, the ones that actually have value will. So if for example, if there's like let's just use Walmart. I don't know what their loyalty program is, but let's say that like they actually have like a $10 million a year budget for their loyalty program. They're putting actual dollars into that, right? So if they can do that, then you can tokenize that because you're putting straight value on chain at that point. I think we're going to see that kind of stuff, which is cool because before when you think about points, you're kind of like, points, cool. Yeah. Like what can I actually get? Well, now you actually have like a monetary value associated directly with these tokenized, these tokens, right? So stuff like that, I think is going to be really cool. And this is kind of another example of that.
Yeah, 100%. So we talk about a lot of good news. There is something that a lot of these bigger boys talk about. So Warren Buffett, he has a market indicator, and it just hit a record 205% above the .com 2008 and 2021 peak. So Warren Buffett here is basically calling for a peak of markets. So I looked into it a little bit, and it said with Buffett's indicator at 205%, U.S. stocks are priced at record levels versus GDP. This hints at stretched valuations, elevated correction risk, and signals investors to trend cautiously. So every single time that this was 2000, and we had that the 2000 crash, 2007 we had that crash, and you can see here, and he's actually potentially calling for it again. Warren Buffett is sitting in 80% cash. Like they have billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars sitting in cash, if not trillions. And he's basically calling, we are so overheated here. But it doesn't mean that it's happening like now or this month or next month. But he is like, so it's 2007, right? We saw the crash 2008. 2000, we saw the crash in 2002. This could be the leading into a potential depression if he's right here.
Do you think he wants it to crash?
I mean, when you're sitting on that much cash, you have to, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is probably a scheduled headline for him. Look, this guy's a pro. He's the master, grandmaster chess player of this industry. And so being in 80% cash, he's probably licking his chops waiting for things to get super on sale. That's not good for the global or like the US economy if that happens. But usually when crashes happen like that too, they don't last too long though.
Yeah.
And he'll take because the big boys like him will come in and buy it up. What's that going to look like for crypto though? What's that going to look like for us? Probably follow the trend a little bit, maybe, but I don't know. I think we have some time away from that if that's true, but we'll see. This is interesting. He's putting these headlines out though already.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do that often, right? Berkshire Hathaway doesn't really comment on stuff, but they will, they'll put out reasons why to their shareholders why they're 80% cash. Because you got to think when you're a shareholder of Berkshire Hathaway, you want them to invest, right? Because investing, they make money. When they make money, stock goes up, right? But Berkshire has been sideways for a long time here, and they're wondering why they're not investing and they're putting out charts like this. So just something to be cautious about there for sure. But Adam Back says $100,000 is too cheap, and that Bitcoin gets between 500 and a million during the cycle. So we're finally getting those million chance. I haven't really heard him too much, but Adam Back's coming out, and he's never been somebody who says,
I know that's the thing.
He's always been very cautious about what he says, but now he's saying minimum 500K, max 1 million, which leaves in my number at 700K.
Yeah, so that, I mean, that's the thing, is that typically when I see a headline like this, I roll my eyes, because this is stuff that we saw from 2017 by they were kind of like fund management institutions that would just kind of throw headlines out there, which is also very interesting that they were even talking about Bitcoin and stuff back then. But they would make these like predictions and stuff. They were way overshooting them. Like they called $1 million in 2017. And so, but someone like Adam Back, to your point, he has a lot of respect, I think, for the most part, the people that have been in the space, especially the Bitcoin space and stuff like that. So to me, I take this as like a serious forecast, and seeing $1 million at the end of the cycle. If he's talking about the halving cycle, then that's going to go to 2028.
Yeah.
Who knows, man? He could be right. We could have this hyper like moment, not moment, but like time period to where it does do some crazy stuff in terms of value.
Yeah, I just feel like everything's so baked in, right? It's again, it kind of goes back to this manipulation that like Bitcoin should be a lot higher than it is right now. Like even so, but it just feels like, with the ETF kind of getting pushed in kind of late, right? I mean, it was January of 2024, and now we're just getting into administration that is not fighting Bitcoin no more. I just feel like it should be so much higher than it is, and it's just being manipulated down for whatever reason. But it's going to break soon. It's definitely going to break soon.
And Tom Lee actually spoke about this specifically, talking about the reason why Bitcoin isn't higher than it is like on the ETF side, like you get in-kind redemption. So sometimes that's a wash. And then also, you have to, he said that like a lot of their clients were OG Bitcoiners that got into Bitcoin at like $1,000 or $1,500, and they're selling at that $100,000 mark. Right. So he did say, at some point that will exhaust a bit into where like there's kind of a reset, and then it starts to take off. But right now in this leg that we're in right now, that's happening. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
So that explains kind of that. But, to Adam Back's point, and Tom Lee saying that will exhaust, probably see something crazy like this during that point, towards there's a whole new generation of like whales and stuff that are coming into Bitcoin and really propping it up very, price point wise.
Yeah, 100%. And another thing is too, right? You might see a lot of people not buying the asset itself, but buying things like MicroStrategy and Metaplanet, right? Because Metaplanet now has 128,000 shareholders, more than doubling in just 3 months. So look at this chart. It's actually pretty crazy. Was people, they don't want direct exposure to Bitcoin, but so they go into these corporate treasury companies. And as you can see, they had 10,000 shareholders in December 2023. This is kind of before they started buying Bitcoin. June 2024 is when, they first started buying tiny bits of Bitcoin. And now look, going into March 2025, they had 63. They've doubled since March. This is becoming one of the most sought after companies, but this could be another reason why Bitcoin is not showing the strength that it would, because these people feel like they're getting exposure through these companies, and these companies are actually going out and buying that Bitcoin to hold it, but they're getting exposure to the Bitcoin price, because as Bitcoin goes up, Metaplanet, MicroStrategy, Tesla, and GameStop, they all kind of go up with it.
Yeah, I think they're probably taking advantage of a market that is like, traditional, used to doing things the way they've been doing things, and buying stock instead. I think that changes over time, but right now they're doing a great job, MicroStrategy and them, taking advantage of these TradFi guys that are like, just it's like whenever we first started using MetaMask a lot, right? Like even last cycle, then these new wallets will pop up and you're like, so just like, I'm just using my MetaMask. You talk to me about MEXC a lot, and sometimes you get this kind of just habitual kind of like, I'm so used to using Coinbase or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they're smart to do this, go after that market. Eventually, I think a lot of those people start to come over, whether it's their children or whatever it's them, or when they see opportunity consistently being on chain. But so far, so great with this blueprint, right? You see MicroStrategy use it. You see Metaplanet. GameStop hasn't really gotten to their levels yet, but they're trying. It seems like, at least, and we'll see what other companies try to jump on board here. But yeah, good success here for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. But now you have all these companies staring at this, right? And it's kind of like, so it's going to get to a point where, you know, maybe people don't want to buy into Bitcoin itself, but getting in these corporate treasuries is going to be just as good. And then you have companies that are failing, like GameStop. I mean, GameStop is you know, it's a failing company, right? At the end of the day, until they put out new products. But getting these Bitcoin strategies kind of sets them up for success, right? Because now they become more than just a failing company, right? Now they actually have real value built within. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But let's kind of get into the Bitcoin crypto fear and greed here. So yesterday we were at a 46. Last week we were at a 50. We're actually a lot higher than I thought we were going to be. We're higher than last week's 50. I'll give you that hint. A nice, not crazy, but a nice amount higher.
58.
Than 50. A little lower. My hit might not have been as good as I thought it was, but it was about 54.
Okay, not too bad. I was a little double.
I feel closer to 50 though. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, I think it's because you're this is just my observation. I feel like you're really focused on the alts and not.
No, I'm focused on this. I'm mainly focused on the rate cuts. You know, that this is my problem right now.
Okay. But it's also, you know, even before the rate cuts, a lot of times you would say, you know, but my list looks red. My list looks red. My list looks red. Even when Bitcoin was at like 105, 106. And so which makes sense. I mean, I get it. And I mean,
how can you be positive when you just see complete red?
Well, right? I know, and I think because like I look at Bitcoin a lot, right? Because and I think the reason why is because I know Bitcoin leads the industry, and so even when I'm trading Ethereum, I'm looking at like Ethereum's charts and stuff, but I look at Bitcoin. That's like one of my charts that I look at because I know if Bitcoin dumps, it's going to dump even harder on the east side or like other places, right? So when I see Bitcoin showing pretty decent stability and strength, I don't feel as negative sentiment, but that's because I'm focused on that.
But this is the crypto fear and greed, not the Bitcoin. That's a
yeah. But what I'm just telling you what our focuses are, right? Like, so my focus has been on Bitcoin, which is the reason why I'm not so, you know, negative on it. And I feel like you focus a lot on that list. I was just
saying, I feel with the crypto fear and greed, I feel like we're a little higher than we should be. I'm just saying crypto. I'm not even saying the Bitcoin, right? So when I look at the fear and greed chart, I look at crypto. I looked at, you know, everything in a thing, not just the Bitcoin, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And that, I mean, it has been like that. Today's list doesn't look, it's not all red. It's mixed up, you know, because Bitcoin has had better days the past couple of days, and I expect it to be. I'm okay with 54, but it's probably because it's mixed, and we'll see what happens here the next couple of days. Like I said, if that House bill goes through tonight, I think that we'll be looking at even a higher number tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm actually afraid of that bill, dude. I don't know if that's going to actually pump the price at first. I mean, in general, once we see more money coming online, man. But it's just one of those things where I don't know.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a knee-jerk reaction. I think it's going to.
You think so?
Yeah, but maybe I'm wrong. We'll see tonight. Hopefully tonight. It has to be tonight if the deadline is tomorrow. So we'll see.
All right, we'll get into that Bitcoin price action. So I have a new video. You ready?
We'll see what happens.
Yagobi, what's the Bitcoin price action looking like today, bro?
Yagobi, tell me, what's today's Bitcoin price action looking like, bro? Heart racing, wild feet pounding the ground. He's hunting that price action, no time to slow down. Yagobi, give me the score. What's Bitcoin doing? I need more.
I'm getting good, bro. I'm getting
First of all, the best by far. No, just kidding. But, so you must have like merged a couple 8-second videos.
All together. 3 of them.
Okay.
All 3 of them. This is the one I'm most proud of.
Racing, wild feet pounding the ground. He's hunting that price action. No time to slow down. Yagobi, give me the score. What's Bitcoin doing? I need more.
Oh my God. Well,
I'm good, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look. You definitely have gotten much better since the just Bitcoin's dropping. So that's pretty good. Definitely better. I like it.
I learned the people, the AI is really good at people. It's not good at anything else. Like when going through that, anytime I try to do anything without the people, it's complete garbage.
Gotcha.
But the people seem to be thing. But let's get in that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura Finance. Artura, they're going to be on Botonics. Botonics just launched yesterday. Hey guys, head over to Botonics, because you're going to want to be a part of that, because they officially came out and they said they're going to be giving away Bitcoin incentives for using the chain. There's already some stuff live, but Artura potentially, rumor has it, they might be going live either next week or the following. Really excited for Artura to go live. Low leverage, low money, get as much points as you can, guys. I highly recommend it. There's no reason not to, because you're not only earning the potential ARA airdrop, but potentially earning some Bitcoin incentives by Botonics. It's huge, but it doesn't stop there. They're also going to be launching on Hemi. Hemi is backed by Binance. Binance is a company that likes to invest in tokens. Hemi has already said they will have a Hemi token, and it'll probably be listed on Binance. What does that mean? Potential, 50, 60, $80 million token right off the bat. And then who knows how higher that is. So by using Artura Finance on Hemi, you'll be actually potentially earning a lot more than just the ARA token. So look into that, guys, and check out Artura Finance.
Yes, sir. Super excited what those guys are about to bring right around the corner too. So I know a lot of you guys have been waiting, but it is coming very soon, guys. Before we get into Bitcoin price action, help us out on the YouTube side. Smash that like and subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, let's share the space, guys. Let's get as many people in here as possible. We thank you guys so much for helping us out. Same thing goes for the abstract crew over there. We love you guys. Thanks for helping us out. Let's jump into some Bitcoin price action. Cheer. So there was something that one of our good friends, Ace, he's a trader. We had him on the Artura AMA. He was talking about the CoinGlass liquidation levels. I'll get into that in a second here, but it might play into kind of where Bitcoin might head in the next 2, 4, 6 hours here. All right, we'll start with the hour chart here. The hour chart looks like, hey, look, we thought we were going to exhaust some of the sell pressure. It opened back up. It faked us out to the upside, and now we're kind of playing a little bit of back and forth, right? But we'll see if we continually consolidate here in the middle, and then we make another major move soon. But as of right now, the sell pressure looks like it's starting to build up. You can see the MACD line curve down here. If there's a big headline, that can change very quickly. But, we did have a decent amount of buy pressure starting on, let me remove this real quick, starting here on Tuesday, and it ran all the way until Wednesday, so yesterday evening, right? And then that's when the sell pressure, but this is not super strong sell pressure, which makes sense, because if you look at the 4-hour chart, you look at the daily, it was kind of in this buy pressure zone. So the sell pressure on the hourly, the hourly is one of the most trickiest time frames, because it's short enough to where you can use it as an entry and exit, right? But at the same time, it's like an hour in length, so you kind of associate it with kind of a higher time frame. But I would say, make sure you're looking at all your time frames, and that's just for me. That's helped me a lot. But anyways, so for the next 2, 4, 6 hours, it's kind of tricky here, right? But if that liquidation level, which I'm about to show you guys, is correct, then we could be trying to head a little bit below into the 108.5 area right there. So I would say definitely keep looking at the hour chart today for the next hour or so. If we do break down below 109, we're probably trying to head to that liquidation level, and I'll go ahead and show that right now. You can see right here, the yellow lines are where the most liquidity is for, on the upside is to liquidate the shorts, on the downside is to liquidate the longs, right? So I actually am glad that, like, on the downside, it's at that like 108.358. Okay, it's not actually too crazy. It's not like further down. Yes, it would be down about what? It's actually only down about $900 from where we are now. So we could quickly liquidate some of these longs that over leverage themselves, and then get back to where we were and start trucking again, especially if we get good news tonight with that House bill. So on the upside, though, to liquidate the shorts, the liquidation level is 110,580. So that was already hit, right? We already hit that earlier today. So we'll see in this chart. It is a running chart here, so we'll see if there's more that builds up there, or maybe not. We'll see. All right, so for the next 2, 4, 6 hours, we'll see, possibly try to go down to that 108.3 2,800 level. So that's something to look out for. If we're looking at some support and resistance as well here, and from a local level, let's take a look at this price point, which is 109,230. We're still seeing some strong support in these areas. Even right below that, there's some support here. So unless there's some large sell bids that come in that push us down here, we don't really see the support giving up until right here at 108,965, and it's still pretty close. But if it's just as I've seen, it doesn't matter. These numbers don't really matter if there's like, market makers, Wintermute decides, wants to push the price in a direction that's going to do it. So something to keep your guys' eye on. That's the hour chart. So the 4-hour chart is showing exhaustion on the buy pressure side. So it's kind of giving a little bit of confirmation, not fully. This does need to curve down here. So we'll keep our eye on the 4-hour chart, which gives us a 2 to 3 day forecast there. The weekly or the daily, let's take a look at the daily. So the daily was looking pretty good. It's still looking okay. It hasn't, like, the day just started not long ago. But if you look here, the MACD looks pretty good, pretty strong on the day. The setup is still pretty decent. So even if we did get to 108,300, hit those liquidation levels, and then in the second half of today we bounce back in the late evening, the daily time frame will still look fine, I think. So that's what I'm seeing there on the daily. Let's get to the weekly for Bitcoin. Weekly is looking pretty good. We bounce back here, kind of setting up, in my opinion. You have this bull flag here. It's perfect for a bull flag, in my opinion, especially if we can end the week with a strong green candle, kind of start that second pole there. We'll see if that happens, but the setup looks good. Let's go to the others chart. The others chart is everything besides Bitcoin and the top 10, and it's bouncing back a little bit. These were definitely red before, so it's showing that, Bitcoin, it's tailing Bitcoin. So that's kind of what we're seeing here. So I'd say let's give it some more time and see, what Bitcoin does, and this will follow eventually, a little bit slowly, but it will follow it. So the weekly is looking pretty okay for the others, and it's really going to be dependent upon how aggressive Bitcoin gets to the upside. I'm in the camp that, we got about 10, 11, 12 days to get to those new all-time highs. And so I think we hit that for Bitcoin, and then this will pull up the others as well. Crypto bubbles on the daily look good. Let me get to the top 100 here. All right, cool. So the top 100, one that stuck out to me just now is Arrows down 4.4%. So that's interesting. They've been getting a lot of love, though, because they are servicing Coinbase and possibly Kraken for their L2s as the main AMM that's going to be connected to their centralized exchange, right? Platforms. But another thing that sticks out to me is Fartcoin was only up 0.8%. Today it's up 7.1%. So that's looking pretty good.
Yeah, definitely good.
Yeah, and then you got Dog with Hat up 4.3%, Flocky up 2.1%, Bonk up a whopping 10.8%, Trump up 1.1%. Going to some utility here, Hyperliquid up 3.2%, AVAX up 2.7%, HBAR up 4.9%, Uniswap up 4.7%. We got Doge up 3%, and Pepe at 2.7%. Let's take a look at the top 200 here. Brett up 4.6%. So the meme coin sector is looking pretty strong. Decent bounce back today. Turbo up 2.9%. Starknet on the utility side up 1.7%. What else do we see in here? Radium up 3%. Radium's been, I feel like they've got a lot of stuff going for themselves. They're Agent Hustle is looking to really kind of have this really strong relationship with them. That could be really big, I think, even for Radium on that side of things. We'll see. Dog Go to the Moon down 1%. So we need to, pick things up there, Dog Army. I know you guys are always crushing it, though. So keep doing what you're doing, and Dog will be back. No problem. No sweat. You got Maple here down 3.8%. And that is going to be your Bitcoin.
Real quick, check out the hourly. Just go to the hour, right?
I don't want
go to the top page. Yeah. See, that's the problem right now. Bitcoin's dropping pretty heavily, and everything's red right now. So it's not looking too good.
But it's how we finish the day. That's the most important thing. But this, I think even if Bitcoin does rebound the second half of today, it could end up red for the alts because, like we say, it's a little bit of a delayed reaction. So we'll see.
The problem is the S&P and the Dow Jones.
They're dumping.
They're not dumping. They're actually just steady sideways, but they're closing in an hour. So that's the problem, right? You're seeing a lot of people. What happens in the next hour? Kind of going to be watching the ES1 and the DJI to kind of get a glimpse of what Bitcoin's doing. But Bitcoin, it kind of lost all of its gains already that we had from this morning. So
yeah. I wonder if
see.
it's like a heat sinking missile right now to try to get to that 108,358. So that's something I'm looking at. If it's going to get down there, that's almost another 1,000 down. So that would bring the sentiment probably not very good.
I'm expecting that. This news from this morning is just not good for markets, in my opinion. I think everything's kind of going to dread on that, but I could be wrong. It does look like, now I'm looking at it, the Dow Jones and the S&P, they're doing good, but this normally happens though. Like, we're going to see what happens between the 12 and 1 o'clock hour, because we do know they close at 1. I think that we're going to see a huge sell down in the next hour, but we'll see.
Definitely could happen.
All right, let's jump into some. So, we getting our guest today, or no? I didn't even.
No. So we're pushing that to next week. Yep.
All right. Let's kind of get back into some news. No, I gotta get in a roll call. Let's get in a roll call here on this show. First is first, and it's that first comment of the day that wins and gets posted on the chart here. So, Lackey Lukey, congratulations to you, man! You winning again. I think it's, dude. What's it? Your third time this week. Damn, dude, you are an absolute beast, bro. Blacky Lukey, and it is your 33rd win of the year. Let me show the chart here.
Is he your first
win of the year? Oh, by far. He's up by 5 on Webdro.
Wow.
And then up by almost I want to say, by about 8 on Danny, for about 7 on Danny. So he's actually running away with it now, guys. Got to get in here, man. Get in here. Be that first. But I know it's hard because he's always 3 minutes after Yagobi posts the thing. So 2 minutes. So congratulations to you, my friend there. But let's jump with the rest of the roll call here. Lackey Lukey, the BTC flying. It was at 243 yesterday. Mr. Hanky is here. Webdro is here. Shout out to Webdro. Congrats, Lackey. Another win, week 1. Yeah, Lackey wins. He won the last 3 weeks, it looks like, for sure. Mats is here. Shout out to Mats. Lackey Luke says, thanks, Webdro. Let's effing go, BTC. Merlin Lucky's here. Shout out to Merlin Lucky. Hydro Sapien, congratulations. I didn't do the wheel spin yet. I'll do that now. Hydro Sapien again. 1+ ad is here. No is here. BTC is Truth is here. Abstract is here. Chips and Dip. Spin Drift. K99. Super fan. Jim. Shout out to you, my friend. Hydro Sapien says we finally go to the moon. Yes, sir. Green Bean is here. Shout out to Green Bean, man.
Green Bean.
First time making the live roll call here. Bongo is in the building.
Yo.
Shout out to Bongo and the Billy Cats. Shout out to you, my friend. Chief Axel's here. Rolando. Every day this week, Rolando. Appreciate you, my friend. ASAP Benji is here. Malam Yuri says, I don't know what's more centralized than the market being subject to this much manipulation. Yeah, 100%. At least you agree with me.
Yeah.
Because I just feel so manipulated.
You can't, and the thing is, we can't even help that.
No.
That's the thing that sucks.
And the messed up part is the people doing the manipulation are the same people who want rates to drop. It just doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Does BTC need to be more than digital gold to achieve 200K market this year? Bitcoin is more than digital gold, in my opinion, right? It's so many different things. It's a way to opt out of the system. It's so many different things, right?
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but I think what he's implying is that, like, for the public to accept, like us, we're in this deep in terms of the Bitcoin ecosystem, but like the everyday person that doesn't know much more than Bitcoin and crypto, just the words or whatever, they look at it as like a store of value, digital gold. But I think you and I both probably 300K. I think he actually could get there with just that narrative, honestly. Yeah. But there's so much more to it, like you said.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, Bitcoin has an entire ecosystem on top of it now.
Yeah.
Right? And many people don't see that, but we see the many builders that are building on top of Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
So if you think Bitcoin is just digital gold, you're just not paying attention and just not really understanding. I'm not saying you stand. I'm just saying, like, the people who are outside. Bitcoin is decentralization as well, right? There's no other decentralized thing in the world. Bitcoin's the only thing where you can buy things online with Bitcoin, right? Like everywhere. A lot of places take it now. So to me, you can't do that with gold. So I just think if you think that Bitcoin's just digital gold, you're just not. You're just behind the curve a little bit for sure. He said, "Is it just me? But is crypto sexiest? Where the ladies at? Sexist? Where the ladies at? Yeah, I don't know.
There's been more that
yeah.
have come into the space the past like year and a half, especially the Bitcoin ecosystem, which has been heavily like dominated by men. You got people like Elizabeth Olsen. You got what's the other Isabel Fox and Duke. So you got some people that are definitely making their name, and it's happening more. But I see where you're coming from, Stan, a little bit. But that was more of probably like I would say last cycle.
Yeah, all the women in the space work in the space, right? So we just need to open up more of an economy where we're hiring more women, and when they come in and understand it, they get it. It clicks. But women just aren't risk on. They're very risk off, most of them, right? They're very, and I think that's very common thing. And I'm not saying that it's all like that, because there's a good portion of women who are, risk on, but majority, in my opinion, they're very calm and relaxed, and they don't like to gamble heavily. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you compare me to my wife, then it's like day and night. Like that's why I'm trying to get her to learn trading, because she's a good forecaster for her job.
Yeah.
I'm like, she'll be my protege that I never was. Yeah, I guess protege, that doesn't make sense, oxymoron. Yeah. But she'll be the trader I never was, because she's conservative and like more conservative and stuff like that. But you're right. But they also, women, they see opportunity, and so I think that's why they're coming over here more, is because they're like, I might not be degen as much as most of the men over there, but I see an opportunity here to where it's going to grow into less and less risky with different products that come into the space.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And Courtney Johnson says there's a great point here. He says men are more in finance anyways. If you go to the finance companies, it's mainly men. So it's not like anything crypto isn't. I mean, I think, when I watch, normal crypto show or normal stock shows, I don't know any women on them, right? CNBC, again, they have women there because that's their job, right? So I think the same thing. Women come into finance, women come into the stuff when it's their job and they have to. They're not just here to just dilly-dally like most men, right? So but Coach Katz just came in. He said, coffee and the donuts and the dog go to the moon. Come in to smash that like. Gotta run though. Appreciate you, Cash, man. Every single day, man. I don't think you missed a day since you came back, but appreciate you. Appreciate every single one of you guys who makes roll call each and every day. It means so much to us, and we absolutely love it. And if you're someone who doesn't make roll call, guys, you got 24 hours to make roll call. I mean, we like 20 hours to make roll call. Just come in. Pop your name in there. We see a lot of people coming here every single day who just drop one comment and then roll out. Just make roll call, guys. It's awesome. Get the shout out for sure. All right, let's jump into some other stuff here. So, okay, so this is big news. The SEC pauses Grayscale's digital large cap fund conversion into an ETF covering Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Sol, and ADA, placing it under further review. I figured this was a mistake. I figured that this got kind of pushed over and too quickly, because like I did a video on this, and even in my video I was like, I think there might be a mistake here, and they came in, they paused it. Grayscale was moving very quickly to get this thing as an ETF, and they're like, hold on, I think we were kind of wrong in letting this kind of pass. What do you think about this? And it's only one day since the news, so.
Oh yeah, so I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? Pausing it. This is a new product too, right? Like whenever it comes to like ETF submission. So I think this is something that's going to be good for the space, but they're probably just trying to figure out how to handle the situation, because it's not going to be the one and only index fund that comes in. There's going to probably be other fund managers that have their own version of it, but look, you want to the SEC to get this stuff right. So them pausing this is fine. It's fine. No big deal. No big red flag here or anything like that. I'm excited for when it comes out. I know that you said that it might not be something that you dabble with or anything like that, but maybe this is something I can kind of have that icebreaker conversation with some friends that feel like crypto's too risky, and like they're in traditional finance, and this is something that could be that bridge.
No, 100%. This is going to be definitely along the like a risk on asset, right? For sure. I completely agree with that. But I just feel like the SEC made a mistake by getting this through, because like I remember when I first read it, I was like, no way. And then I went to Cointelegraph, and Cointelegraph said they acknowledged it. I just think the wording got messed up. I think they meant to acknowledge it, but they accidentally passed it through, and then it was already kind of too late to kind of put the hold on it. So now they just paused it.
Yeah. Yeah, wording matters, right? Wording matters.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I expect it to go through though. Well, once
Yeah.
they have it all figured out. And it'll be good. It'll be a solid product.
Yeah, 100%. All right, moving along here. So Tether partners with Adecoagro. It's a Brazilian company, so I think that's why I can't read this. Right? Am I right? How do you say this?
I'm not gonna try that.
All right,
Move on.
To develop a renewable energy powered Bitcoin mining. So we do know that Tether, they are now in El Salvador. They're headquartered in El Salvador now, and they're mining. So they're actually going into all these renewable energy sources that are in South America right now. And Brazil is one of the biggest. I didn't even know this, but they have one of the biggest renewable energy sources in the world is in Brazil. I guess because it's so sunny and they get a lot of sun rays and and it's windy as well. So they're getting water. Exactly. They have a lot of different aspects of it. And, you know, Tether is going to be using volcano power from El Salvador. They really want to get to renewable energy. And my first thought was to kind of please a lot of people. But then I'm like, no, they want to get renewable energy because it's cheap. Yeah, they want to make more money. They want to make more Bitcoin. But South America is a great place to do that.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of people overlook the water energy because, you know, there's tons of water that's flowing through rivers and just different types of situations in South America. And like you said, if you're lucky enough to have the volcanic energy, then that's another thing. And so this is smart for them because we know that they're invested in mining facilities and stuff like that, right? So they just build it, put their investment into it, and then save on the energy side of things. And that's why some people have pivoted to AI mining, because it became more profitable for the medium and smaller size. But like even like the larger ones are constantly looking to cut costs. So this is probably a very smart move by them.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Moving along here, Kraken exchange, MERL is live on Kraken. So shout out to all the MERL holders out there. We are two of them for sure. We think the Merlin chain is going to be something huge, and it's very early, but they do have ordinals, they have runes, they have a lot of other things. They have AI. I just think that they're so underestimated right now because of the markets are shit, right? And that's my biggest thing too, is like people are saying all these assets are shit, but the builders are building a lot of these products, right? And the problem is, if number doesn't go up, no one gives a shit. No one gives a shit what you're building if number doesn't go up. And that's the hardest part about being in crypto right now, is everything's really being ignored, but innovation is happening, and it's happening everywhere. I'm just glad Kraken is seeing it, especially with listing Dog last week and MERL this week.
Absolutely. This is huge for Merlin chain, in my opinion. Kraken is a tier 1 exchange. And it, like I've mentioned previously, I mentioned this before the dog listing, Kraken has an opportunity to be that, shining star centralized exchange of the cycle. And you got to give credit to Jeff and his team. He's the epitome. They are the epitome of control what you can control, and don't focus too much on the stuff you can't control, right? What can you control? You can control trying to get into a line to be able to be accepted into this exclusive fraternity, to be a part of the Wrap Bitcoin DAO. What else? You can try to put yourself in position to be a part of the Binance Alpha program, and then get added to the perps. And by the way, this Kraken thing didn't come out of nowhere. This was him and his team had to apply for the proper licenses and stuff for the United States. This was due diligence and hard work that was from months and months ago. First getting on the perp side of Kraken, and then getting to this day where they are spot listed on a United States exchange, mind you. So shout out, congratulations to him and his team. This is huge, and I expect. See, every time they come out with a headline, I always say I expect another big headline and another one, just because they've been doing it lately. So shout out to them. And for the people that are like number go up situation, that will, another thing, do these kind of things, that will take care of itself whenever the time comes, because you don't have control over that specifically at the very moment.
Yeah. And all these things are baked in, right? That's one thing that's happening right now. And people's like, oh, that came out of nowhere. This price is shot up out of nowhere. No, it's because all this stuff's baked in. we're just waiting for one thing, and that is a risk on momentum. We're waiting for everything just kind of be like, okay, it's time. We're waiting for that, and that's one thing that sucks, right? Because we are waiting for rate cuts, we are waiting for quantitative easing, and we're waiting for administration that we got now that is crypto friendly. So it's like everything is just pointing up. It's just that everything is just waiting for an explosion in Bitcoin. And that's one thing that kind of sucks. It's that we eventually, I think this is the last cycle though. I think crypto and Bitcoin kind of separate into two different categories. And I think that'll be good for a lot of different reasons. But we need mass adoption for that to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, mass adoption, and some of these chains and brands, like this is Merlin's team's looking at themselves as a brand. Of course, a chain, but a brand. What do you do to strengthen your brand? Blueprint, Merlin chain. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, 100%. BitMEX becomes the first exchange to accept RLUSD as margin on derivatives trading platform. Dude, I'm getting really bullish on XRP ecosystem. Right, with the RLUSD, with the now they are a EVM side chain, right? So, and then on top of that, they're planning on rolling up the EVM transactions and landing them on XRP, very similar to what Arch is doing with Bitcoin, right? So, I'm getting really bullish on XRP. Maybe not the coin itself, but the ecosystem, but that's one thing I just don't know about. I'm curious of your opinion on this. XRP people that shill it on TikTok and YouTube, they're not people who are off exchanges. They're not people who take their XRP and put it in their hard wallet. They're people who buy on Robinhood. They buy it on Coinbase. They buy it on Binance, and they just hold it. Can we see this ecosystem of people come on chain and start using it in different ways?
So I think that they started probably about 2 years ago, start slowly coming on chain, but the experience was really, I'm gonna just be quite frank, it was shit.
Gotcha.
Like I was on the XRPL, and was it fast? Cool. Was it? There just wasn't a lot of liquidity. There wasn't a lot of fun. There wasn't a lot of community being built on X. Now I haven't been back there doing DeFi stuff since 2022, 2020, early 2023. But I imagine a lot of that, maybe not like a lot of their community, but some of the people that created videos and stuff, you had to imagine that they ventured into it. But I think that since you and I have been covering the Bitcoin ecosystem, there was one project that came over from XRPL that we actually did a video with. You remember, because they were trying to
Expectar.
Well, there was Expectar, but then there was another one that had like a video game thing that was in there.
Oh,
yeah. So they have builders, but they definitely need to kind of tell their crazy shillers, because that's what they are, to experience this. They do a great job, by the way, that community, to build community. You want that type of energy and cultism to be a part of, like Dog, which is starting to happen, and like that's like the Doge, but it's different a little bit, but yeah, to your point, most, I would say 80%, like you said, centralized exchange purchases, and really just happy to be pushing XRP, because they bought the painting. And when I say they bought the painting, the people that painted the XRP will be $10,000 a coin, because it's going to replace Swift and stuff like that. That's okay. A lot of people have bought in those paintings through crypto, right? But the problem is that once you come to a realization, you still have bags. So now you got to work for the fact that it's probably not going to be $10,000 a coin, but it still could go up. And I think that's where a lot of them are right now. So,
you got to think XRP at $10 is a bigger market cap than Ethereum, right? Like this, if you think about it that way, these people are just insane. But I do follow some dude on TikTok. He lives in a tent. He works at Burger King, and he stacks XRP. And he posts every single day. He cleans graveyards for extra. He works all day long. He has all these different crazy jobs, and he lives in a tent.
Where's he living in a tent at? In the woods?
I think it's like Atlanta. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's Atlanta. I don't know. It's like a tent city, like homeless people and shit. So, and then he works at Burger King, and he's like a 20-year-old kid, maybe not 19, but he's dead on set on XRP. And I keep getting in this chat or his comments, and I'm like, dude, there's other opportunities out there like that could actually get you out of this tent situation. But again, he just refuses. He thinks XRP is going to $25,000. That's what he said. He's just basically saying, I'm already a millionaire. He's been buying since XRP was 20 cents though. So he definitely has a bag. But it's just those people are just so bought in, man. So bought in.
Yeah, they are.
But I'm just glad. I'm just finally glad that it is looking up, and it's not. I mean, when they say things like XRP is gonna be a banking, no bank is gonna trade billions of dollars in XRP because it doesn't matter how fast it is. In 1 second, I mean, $1 billion in XRP can drop 10 grand, right? And they're not gonna do that. They're gonna do it.
It's too risky. Yeah,
it's too risky. So stable coins aren't gonna drop any. It might drop 0.01. Or something like that, but it's like a couple bucks, right? So, but our last thing here, CBLO has acquired an additional 2 million dog. So now they have 5,912 dog, building the first publicly traded treasury. They are starting to put out things, put posts and stuff. But I was in a space last night, Leonidas, Trevor, Jan space. I was at Ordinal Show, and they were basically saying that they think this company is going to buy millions of dog every day. They think the first buy was yesterday, second buy was later that night, and then they potentially could be buying more and more every day. But this is a publicly traded company that has dog, and I know we said it yesterday, but they're going to continue to buy here and mess around with the community, which is cool. They're actually asking for memes and stuff.
Yeah, they are. But this is big. Yes, it's not like huge amounts of money, but they said they're going to continually add. This is a second purchase, though. So, hey, like they said, this is just the start, and they stuck with their word, and it took a day later for them to get more. So I think the biggest thing is, like, what does this look like? What does their reserve look like 2 months from now? Are they going to be holding 30 million? Are they going to be holding 10 million? What does that look like, right? But the bullish part of it is that they have started. And another weird thing too, I want to get your opinion on this. Lobo has come into the picture. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that was the CEO of Kraken.
What's up with that, man? Weird, right?
Yeah, he was like, "Is Lobo better than dog?" And it's like, dude, what are you doing? I think he was just testing the community, but like the comments were like, dude, what are you doing? Like the comments were like, no, it's dog. And then Gizmo community came in, Pop's community came in, they all came in, and then I think he realized he messed up pretty early into that, because he hasn't done it since.
It pumped the market cap. The market cap jumped 70%. Up to like 7 million, 8 million. So it's interesting that they're even, first of all, starting to talk about other runes, number one, and then that they went straight to Lobo. But yeah, we'll see if that is a continued conversation or whatever. But you gotta give them props, and for Kraken too, for staying consistent with the support of the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Yeah, and they say like Lobo has backing from Buoyant Capital. They have no liquidity anywhere. Like Buoyant Capital hasn't added liquidity to Lobo on DotSwap. They haven't added it on RuneX. They haven't bridged it over to Solana to add it there. Like Pups has, right? Like, so it's like, to me, it's like Lobo has no backing from these people. They left Lobo. They're coming back now, because of this comment from the CEO. But I mean, before that, they abandoned Lobo.
Speaking of coming back, though, decentralized, all of a sudden back up. They're all about runes again, right?
I know, of course.
How do you handle this kind of stuff? It's weird.
I know, but I mean, Lobo and decentralized were beaten down pretty bad, right? Lobo at one point was a $50 million market cap. Now it got down to like 3. Decentralized, I mean, it was down bad, bro, like 99.9%, but it is bouncing back. But it's funny though, you're right, they come back in droves after that.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna spin this wheel. I normally do it at the beginning of the show, but I totally forgot today, so let's give this thing a spin. If you don't know what this is, just head over to our X account, OnChain Revolution there. Jump down to here, and then you'll see a community here, 59 members. Just go to view the community, and what I did was I just take everybody's name in the members, and I put you guys all on a wheel. So if you want to be a part of tomorrow's giveaway, all you have to do is do exactly what I did. Come here, join the community, and that's it. It's all you got to do. It's just be a part of the community, trying to build this up to 100 people by the end of the week. We'll see by the end of next week if we can do that. So, but yeah, so I'm going to keep giving it away until we get 100 people. I might have to go into the market and buy some, but I still got a bunch left. So we're giving away a fluid pass here. So let's spin this up.
Good luck. Good luck.
See who wins.
Does that say AI XBT?
That was
Oh.
anti.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like,
Anti-XBT.
AI XBT, join our community. That's fine.
Baby DGen 18, I will be reaching out to you in X if you want to get ahead of that and reach out to me. I'm going to ask for your Taproot address, so I can send you the fluid pass. But congratulations to you, and I'll be putting out a comment later in case you are not watching this. But shout out to you, shout out to every single one of you guys, man. And that is our show today. We have 184 people in here on this Thursday. Appreciate every single one of you guys, man.
Yes, sir. We are so thankful for you guys, man. You guys support us, and we're thankful for that. But also, our partners help support us and allow us to do this as well. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate that. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator for the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for runes like Dog Go to the Moon or $1 Billion Cat, etc., you can do so directly here. And you can earn Amber points. What are Amber points? They're going to be points that you accumulate and go towards a give back for early adopters using satsterminal.com. You can also swap for alkanes there as well. So make sure that you're following their X account so you can get updated on different opportunities regarding Amber. And whenever they start to, service new meta protocols and stuff like that, their X account always, drops a solid fire tweet about that. So make sure you're following them there. And head over to satsterminal.com today to trade runes or alkanes. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace in the Bitcoin ecosystem. All you need is a Bitcoin wallet, some Bitcoin, and 6 Bitcoin blocks. You can start placing bets in their blitz markets. What are their blitz markets? Their blitz markets are 10-minute market, 10-minute countdown for you to select Bitcoin, BNB, or Solana to where you think it's going to go up or down. You get an additional 10 minutes to see if you're correct or incorrect. They're also going to have features where you can create your own market. So it's going to be like a decentralized poly market there. You can earn 1.5% of the total volume of the total transactions that have been placed in your custom markets there. Also, you can earn 1% of the total friend referrals that you have as well. Head over to betbtc.win today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the Bitcoin ecosystem. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals, your rare pepes from Bitcoin to Ethereum. Right now, you could do so with the Taproot Wizard Collection and take a loan out on the Gandhi platform on Ethereum. But you're going to be able to do it also on Abstract Base, possibly Merlin and Solana as well. So you definitely want to, check them out and do that, because we think that ordinals are going to go everywhere. Everybody likes ordinals. Everybody likes, runes. We think this is going to be an interoperable industry altogether. So make sure you're checking them out. But you also can utilize their AI agent Hustle, which is their AI agent product that helps guide you through the jungles of Solana. You can ask it, hey, Hustle, give me a couple safe 5x plays on Solana. Hustle will spit out a couple coins that it thinks that has good potential for that goal and give you reasons why it thinks that, right? And also, in the near future, you're going to be able to, once they add the Bitcoin tech stack as well, you're going to be able to use Hustle to help you vault some of these ordinals and NFTs over to different environments as well. Also, they did migrate the Tensor token that's associated to Hustle, the TNSR token. If you haven't done that yet, make sure you go to migrate.fund. It's a really simple process. If you go to our YouTube library, you can see the tutorial in there. It's really simple, guys. You just connect your wallet and it sees how many Tensor you have, and you click migrate, and it migrates it to the Hustle token. This is going to be really good for the project growth and for token holders, as the team will be able to do give backs a lot more this way. So make sure you are checking out Agent Hustle, as Agent Hustle is also free right now, but very soon they're going to have a tokenized model with the Hustle token. So you want to check it out and preview it. You got some time right now to do so. And don't forget, they do have a TGE rune in September, October. You can participate in a pre-sale at OpenSea right now. If you search Founder Vault Keys, you can see these NFTs here. If you purchase them, once the TGE comes, you will get a certain amount of the supply in your Bitcoin wallet. They'll give you instructions on how to do that. All that information is at emblem.vision. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They're about to launch on mainnet with Botonix. Botonix has already launched. Botonix is the spider chain of Bitcoin layer 2. But Artura is going to be launching with them. It should be this coming week. Make sure you're following their X account so you can get that announcement as soon as possible. We'll obviously be talking about it as well. But you're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungibles like Dog Go to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, Gizmo, Already Sat, stuff like that. That's going to come a little bit later, but they're going to, kick things off with Bitcoin, Ethereum, those basic tokens, and eventually some of the hot tokens outside of the ecosystem like XRP, Tau, stuff like that. But if you're not a trader, no problem. You can actually add liquidity to their vaults to help make the platform more formidable and strong. And you're going to be able to earn XP for utilizing the platform in any way. So make sure you're checking that out as well. Stay tuned for their latest updates. They're going to be also launching on Hemi Bitcoin Layer 2 after the Botonics launch. Head over to Artura.finance to learn more, dive into their docs there. And then Fluid Tokens is the UTXO wizard devs of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They started building on Cardano, which is a UTXO chain, and they work their way to Bitcoin. So they build on both. If you're from the Cardano side, you can participate in the Aquarium platform that they offer, and you can add liquidity and earn Babel fees that way. Passive income, guys. And then on the Bitcoin side, they were the first to offer retail staking vaults. So they have staking vaults for runes. I wouldn't be shocked if they create them for alkanes in the future, but right now they have them for runes. They have done 2 seasons of Dog Go to the Moon staking. If you're in the second season, you need to claim your tokens. Go do it right away. You can claim the original tokens that you got along with your rewards in one transaction. But season 3 is coming out, I would say pretty soon, probably towards the end of this month, beginning of August. So make sure you're paying attention of when that announcement drops as well. Everybody wants to earn more dog by staking your dog, right? So that opportunity is definitely there. And then for the builders, there's an airdrop tool to where you can airdrop runes or alkanes. It's really simple. You can either use a CSV file, which has all the addresses on there already. You just upload that, or you can do it manually one by one. Head over to fluidtokens.com today to learn more. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that supports both Cardano and Bitcoin, and very, very soon, Sui as well. If you have an Apple app or iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play. You can download the application there. And you can swap directly in the app for runes on the Bitcoin side as they partnered with SAS Terminal, or Cardano tokens as they partnered with Dex Hunter over there. There's an alpha section where you can find Shizzy and I on there too, as well. It's pretty cool, as well as other YouTube alpha callers. But the whole idea here is to build the best UI, UX. So if there's any suggestions you guys have after downloading it, let us know. It's going to be super exciting as they're going to continually add new ecosystems to support. Head over to Tokyo.io to dive in there. And then Merlin Chain, the big announcement was that they're listed on Tier 1 exchange Kraken today. So that's huge. But the team is just constantly building the brand and products, right? So they're uniting Bitcoin strength with the power of AI by way of their AI 0.3 version wizard. You can use the wizard to navigate through the Merlin's ecosystem. But very soon, once the next version comes out, you're going to be able to actually do research in the broader crypto ecosystem as well. But you can use the wizard to help you do DeFi functions like swapping and staking. And speaking of staking, if you want to help secure the chain, you can do so by going to merlinchain.io, clicking on the stake menu item there. And there's 3 options: Bitcoin, which you can stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin, and you can earn 8 to 21% APR that way. It does lock up till September 30th of this year, so keep that in mind. And then you have the Merlin Chain token that you can stake 2 different options. The flexible option, which is a 15% APR, you can actually collect the rewards daily this way, or the bonded option, which is a 6-month lockup, but you get 45% APR. Same thing, you can collect the rewards on a daily basis. So make sure you're taking advantage of those opportunities. Head over to merlinchain.io today. And lastly, don't forget about our integrated partners in Jungle, formerly Foxy AI, building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, as well as their first-person shooter game called Cypher Striker. And then Ordinal Hive is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace. There's going to be some big news and announcements. We're going to have Fonzie on next Thursday, so make sure you guys are tuning into that live stream. He's going to have some big announcements that day. Check them out at Ordinal Hive. Thank you guys so much for checking us out.
Yep. Great job, man, as always. And if you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind, check it out OnChainRevolution.io. It's one of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. Brand new article just dropped this week, Tokenized Equities. If you guys do not know about what X Stocks is bringing to Solana, you guys need to know about this. This is actually huge. You can actually go purchase as Tesla, X, and a whole bunch of other ones over there. There's a couple other ones too. Definitely check out all the equities. Everything is in this article for you guys, man. And if you guys need a VPN, highly recommend everyone get a VPN, guys. This one right here, Nord, is my personal favorite. I use it every single day. I locked it in for 2 years. I paid $3 a month, guys. $3 a month. I locked it in, paid it all at once. Set it, forget it. If you go to Nord website and you get it through them, it's going to cost you $10 a month, right? Or if you, let's just say you lock it in for 3 months, it's going to, you're going to get 3 months, but then it's going to force you to pay the $10 a month into that. But lock it in for 2 years, set it, forget it, done. $66, I think it was. So just do that, guys. And, if you guys want to go to a website, and that website is geo-blocking you. I had this problem yesterday. I was messing around on Botonics, kind of learning stuff, and one of their sites geo-blocked me. I was like, damn, my VPN must be off. I realized it was off. So I went into it, got it back on, and good to go. And the only reason I go off my VPN is when I want to check my bank account or stuff like that, where my bank's like, hey, like, they don't let you in for being there. So you have to turn it off real quick. But sometimes I forget to turn it back on. But with the VPN, guys, you definitely want to make sure that it is on. And check out our merch here, guys. We have some of the best merch in all of crypto, all done through our third-party Shopify. Go up here. We just added some new hoodies. We got the Dog Go to the Moon hoodie here. We got the Angry Dog. So much more. We are all Satoshi Nakamoto. Check everything out here, guys, at onchainrevolution.io. And we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain Revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How do the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and arching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain Revolution.